Hey there, what's up? I don't really want to talk to myself, so whenever somebody joins, live concurrent viewers 1. Okay, seems that somebody has connected. Say hello in chat, please, so I can be sure that somebody is actually... Oh, Mr. Robert, what's up, what's up? How are you doing? We're going to have to grab some of those beers and coffee soon. When are you coming back to Zagreb? I'm not even sure how delayed this stream is. 3rd of January, that's good. Soon enough for beers and coffee. There is an option in YouTube stream like super ultra low latency. I have picked that option. And it says that if I pick that option, then I cannot have live transcription and whatever the stuff that needs some processing time. But either way, I have a feeling that this is a little bit delayed, like about 4 or 5 seconds, if I can see myself on the other screen. I was actually thinking about making a small celebration of like 2,000 subscribers, right? And I was going to record a video and wish people a happy Christmas and like wrap it up in something like 3 or 4 minutes. But then again, I just decided to launch a live stream or something. I don't know, maybe people will have some ideas about what could I talk about Linux or free software, or hook up on my laptop, maybe install something again. Either way, it's all up in the air. Concurrent viewers 3 and only 1 is talking in chat. Feel free to say something in chat so I can know who am I talking to instead of just myself, right? Ugly Sweater Gang, maybe somebody. Chat is still empty. That's kind of disturbing. Type something in chat. Feel free to click like. Feel free to click like and subscribe, and what do YouTubers say? Like and subscribe and click the bell for instant notifications. Mr. Wild excuse me, Wild Young. Alexei Shil. Okay, I'm stuck with Cyrillic. Shilin. Alexei Shilin, did I read it right? I'm just checking. I got 1 like from someone. It just flew up. Wow, you nailed it. Well, it's not that difficult unless you're Russian and you have those special characters that other Slavic languages don't have. For example, the Latin letter R, but flipped the other way around. I know that's ya. But there are some special characters that I really don't know. I actually don't know where you are from. I just read Alexei, so I suppose that could be Russian or something like that. Although Alexei in theory could be Serbian too, but less likely, I would say. Could be Ukrainian. I'm just talking to myself. Feel free to boost my sentences with some more content on what I said. Concurrent viewers 6 and 3 of you are talking. That's nice, like 50%. Make it 60%. I'm a bit in a trolling mood today, right? With a Microsoft product here. This is Microsoft Paint from, I don't know, Windows 95 or something. It's an ugly Microsoft sweater, like a Christmas mood kind of a sweater, right? So what are you guys doing for Christmas, for the holidays or whatever? What are your plans? Okay, I need to increase my font size because I'm blind while reading this. So Alexei says yep, like yeah, and add. So the next one I'm not sure. The next one I would say this is E, but with the chevron above, I'm not sure that this is E. Many weird letters. Some are even always silent and act like modifiers to other letters, right? Okay. So which one is the other letter in your first sentence? The one that's not ya. How do you pronounce that one? Unless it's E. I mean, without the chevron, I think it would be E. Actually, it is, yes, but with the check, I'm not sure. Yeah. Anyways, the Christmas time, right? It's the time when you wear ugly sweaters, right? When you buy presents for your loved ones, when you get presents. Apologies, I'm still a bit sick. When you get more presents under your Christmas tree, when families get together, maybe you're free from work for a week or something. I will be on vacation. Maybe I'll do some a little bit more videos than usual since I'm going to be not entirely free because I need to visit a lot of families, but other than that, I will not be going to work for a week, so that's nice. A little bit of rest. Stuff like that. I'm going to probably install OpenBSD on maybe one of my. I was thinking about putting it on my computer, which is supposed to act as a router in the near future, but somebody told me that OpenBSD has a good desktop experience out of the box if my hardware is supported. So maybe I'll try on my laptop first, right? Northern Chimp arrives with some penguins under the Christmas tree, right? What are penguins doing under the Christmas tree? Like, are you getting free Linux downloads? I mean, Linux is free without the Christmas presents, right? I doubt that Santa is going to bring me Linux this year, as I can download it myself, right? I'm just kidding. It would be nice if Santa would bring me some Linux CDs, like original ones. And by original, I mean like, when you have a, I don't know, Debian CD, but printed with a professional printer or something like that. So I don't write Debian with my own marker, right? Northern Chimp celebrates. Alexei says that's difficult to explain, like why in say or yes, we call it short I. I think Bulgarian and Ukrainian also have it. Yeah, I don't speak Bulgarian and Ukrainian, or Russian. I don't speak any of those languages, so I'm not entirely sure how to deal with that. So if you would say like a Y in say. Oh, so I actually read your name right. So it is Alexei, right? But it's not Alexei with E in the end, but more like with E or something like that, right? Alexei. So that's how it should sound. Like I think I think I have an idea, but I would probably need more examples, right? Yeah, I think I'm on a good track. Northern Chimp says Happy Christmas to all penguins. Yeah, I was thinking about learning some more Slavic languages, and I was juggling in my head between maybe Czech or Polish or Russian. Um, it doesn't really matter which one because it doesn't really serve me any particular purpose in my personal life other than practicing my brain a little bit with foreign languages, right? And Slavic one should be a little bit easier than what do you call them, Romance languages like Italian or whatever. But with Russian, I would also need to, well, Cyrillic alphabet is not difficult. I know most of it, but switching my keyboard from Croatian alphabet, right, to a Cyrillic one, that would be kind of awkward because there are many letters that look the same, but but are not really the same. That could be a little bit. Shamim Ahmed, Ugly Sweater Gang. Yes, Ugly Sweater Gang. And what was more, Ugly Microsoft Sweater Gang, right? With Microsoft Paint. Wait a second. So this is Microsoft Paint, and this is the start button. Okay, where is it? Here, sorry. So that's the start button if you wish to run some of the applications through Wine, maybe. You know, on Linux, you need to use this sweater in conjunction with Wine in order to run this Paint program here. So this Paint program does not work just through Wine. You need also this sweater. Okay, I'm just saying. Mikael from Sweden. So how is Sweden? How is Sweden today? I'm a little bit in celebrating mood, right? So I posted like a day or two ago how it would be nice to cross the new year, which would be my first anniversary of the active part of this YouTube channel, right? So I was hoping I would hit 2,000 subscribers to kind of celebrate the transition into my year 2. And lucky me, you guys nailed it. And I will be entering the year 2 with 2,000 subscribers. Mikael from Sweden says Open SUSE. Okay. Wild Jung, good Jewel. Why do you repeat good Jewel? I don't. God Jewel. God Jewel? What does that mean? Oh, both of you, Michael and Wild Jung, said God Jewel. I have no idea what that means. Good Yule. Yeah, I'm totally confused. It's something I am not familiar with. Either that's slang or a language that I don't speak, or... Oh, Swedish, have a nice Xmas. Okay. Thank you very much. You too, guys. I was going to say that like on the end of the stream, but yeah, Christmas is coming, and the tree is already in front of my front door, mounted on the tripod, and I need to get it into my apartment and put the what do you call them, kugle, balls, Christmas balls on the Christmas tree, right? Congrats with 2,000 subs. First steps towards 1 million. Well, it takes a lot of how would I put it? When I started really actively a year ago, it was the January of this year, right? If you rewind my to my latest, first videos, you will see that they should be somewhere from January. And it was quite tough to get the ball rolling, right? When you start pushing the ball, you get like 1 sub, 2 subs, 3 subs, 4 subs, and you get like you spend a week on trying to assemble what you believe is a good video, and you have very little experience with video editing and how you should be talking, and you have 1,000 little cuts because every 2 seconds I'm going like and I cannot remember my words that I was going to say. And I was never really a fan of writing a script, right, and using the what do you call it, teleprompter, right. I am not a fan of reading from the screen. I mean, if we would be talking about some news, I have no problem opening up a web page and reading and giving my opinions. That's perfectly fine. But when you're doing a structured video, like when you have a topic, it sounds a bit more natural when people can see that you have at least a little bit of knowledge on the topic, and when they hear you not reading from a script, right? Because a script can be written by basically anyone. You can write it with ChatGPT and read it, and it will sound as artificial as, you know, it's stupid. I don't like it. I mean, I don't have anything against people who do such things. It's just that it's not my style. So when I started, thanks for the likes, whoever is pressing that. Viet Zorni, I cannot pronounce that. I'm sorry, but I'm from Croatia. In the first or 2 or 3 months, there was very few views, right? And getting very few views after investing a lot of effort, it's really how to put it, disheartening. That's the wrong way to say it. It takes, you know, people need a little bit of motivation, right? Some more subscriptions or some more comments. When you have no subscriptions and no likes on your video and no comments, it gets a little bit dull, and you keep making more videos and you think like there will be viewers eventually, right? And eventually there was viewers, but it took like 6 months to properly get the ball rolling. And then DistroTube shouted me up like 2 months ago, and I got a few hundred subs from that shout out, right? So thanks DistroTube for that one. And here we are, right? So on every video I get like at least 30 or 40 comments. That's awesome. Unless it's a boring video, then it's my problem, right? What capture card did you use in the KDE Linux live stream, asks Aurora. So I bought a very, very, very cheap capture card from AliExpress, and so cheap, I think it was like €6. Let me show it to you. That one. Okay, so it's the USB port, HDMI. It just says video capture. It's made in China, of course. It's a shit product, but it works. Like when you're starting a channel, you don't really want to invest. I mean, I don't have too much money to buy all the fancy equipment, so I bought what I thought that could do the job, right? And it does the job pretty much okay. I think it could do full HD, like 30 FPS. It says 60, but when I put it to 60, it starts overheating. So it is what it is. It's fine. When the channel grows, I'll get a slightly better capture card, but this one is doing its purpose pretty well, right? Dzień dobry, pozdrawiam z Polski. Hopefully I read that right. Viet Zorni. I am actually thinking about, not thinking about, actually I started learning Polish 2 days ago. I learned how to say, let me remember. So, yeah means eating. Apple is, I'm trying to remember. Okay, give me a second. Apple is, I forgot. It's similar to Croatian, but not Jablko. Jabiko, Jablko. Okay. And some other. Oh, Mr. Amir with BAM. One BAM. Thanks for the like. Thanks for the shout out. Thanks for one convertibilna marka, Mr. Amir. You rock. You rock. So Polish. The man is called. I forgot. I learned man, woman, and a child or something like that. Woman is. Oh, sorry about that. My brain is totally stuck. It's only been 2 days. So woman is. Crap. I honestly remembered it like up to this morning. But never mind. I guess I am not remembering anymore. Needs more practice, I suppose. Needs more practice. I'll get there someday. Okay, so Nino Heggi, here is Italian saying per Natale con I sui per Absquale? I have no idea to read Italian, sorry. It translates for Christmas with family, for Easter with whoever, roughly for Easter with whoever, roughly translated in English. Okay, thank you. And another pozdrav from Poland. In Croatian za Božić sa svojima, za Uskrs sa whoever, yes. And hello from Sarajevo, says Amir. Absquale is typo for Pasquale. I have no problem with your typo because I don't know Italian at all. So whatever you write, I'm going to read it as you have written it, right? And top 2 Croatian people, Luka Modric and me. Yes, I am not even close to Luka Modric. He practices a lot. He is really carrying a lot on his back when Croatia is playing, right? Let's celebrate their first super on a live stream, says YouTube. Yes, okay, let's celebrate my first super from Amir Parla. It's like V in English or W. I'm glad you're trying. It should be easier for you as you're based in Serbo-Croatian. Yes, some words are pretty similar, right? But the grammar in Polish is quite a bit different. So in a way, it's not that different, but in another way, it seems quite a bit challenging. So I wouldn't expect me to read Polish books anytime soon, though I will try. In fact, after learning one Slavic language, you will be able to understand like 80% in any other Slavic language, just like I can basically understand Ukrainian, Polish. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure, but Ukrainian, I know it's different from Russian, but was Ukrainian like based somewhat off of Russian? As I said, it's not the same, but I think it's more alike to Russian than it is to more southern languages, right? And one other reason why I chose Polish is because it's different enough from Serbo-Croatian that it feels like halfway towards going more to the north, right, to Ukraine and Russia, because Czech is a lot more similar to mine, so that one might still a bit sick, so that one might be a little bit too easy, and Polish could be a nice and proper challenge without being too difficult. When you give yourself goals that are way too high, then you get how do you put it? Then you get, when things are not going well for you, then you give up because you clearly are not doing well, right? And you need some motivation in terms of yeah, man, I managed this lesson. I managed to read this page, this letter in this language that I'm learning. I managed to watch like half of this movie and understand half of it, like little goals, right? um Ham radio from a balcony. I have been on holiday in Poland. Okay, more Polish based but different alphabet and much Russian. The Ukrainian, right? But more Polish based, but different alphabet and much Russian flavor. I suppose I could like go around through the Polish language, then Ukrainian, then maybe Russian. It shouldn't be too many years to get a grip on the basics of all of them, right? In terms of if I would visit one of any of these countries, which is something that I am planning to do. It would be very rewarding if I could order stuff in a restaurant in the language of my how do you call them, those whose guests I am, right? So that would be nice. I was in Paris this year with my family, and I have no clue about French language, right? So we ordered everything in English. But I mean, English is fine because pretty much everyone knows it. So you can manage with any given scenario, right? But it's not challenging enough. It's just like a default language. It's not even how would I put it? It doesn't sound very rich. It sounds almost like a computer language, if that makes sense. I'm not sure, but I think Ukrainian is closer to Polish, except using Cyrillic alphabet. Well, if Ukrainian is closer to Polish, then learning Polish and then Ukrainian, that should be a relatively small step, but maybe I can ask some Polish guys about that. Ham radio from a balcony says, I'm from Holland and visited Reval in the north, Poznan, and have relatives in Vitovo, but that is very small. I know a bit of Russian, and with the combination of my Polish, I understand Slavic languages somehow. I guess when I'm drunk, it's easier to communicate inter-Slavic. Inter-Slavic is one of the projects I was interested in. However, inter-Slavic is... I'm not sure what to think of it. It's a good assembled language if you are... I wouldn't necessarily say if you're lazy, but if you don't want to learn all the languages, but you are traveling a lot through the Slavic countries, then inter-Slavic might be good enough to do the basic conversation with everyone, right? But that's not actually my goal. First of all, I want my brain waves to start firing. From one side, I'm learning a lot about Linux under the hood. I started learning about FreeBSD and will start learning like OpenBSD. And these are all technical stuff, and these activate one part of your brain. Languages activate a completely different part of your brain. I just want my brain to be as active as I can make it, with the thing that I'm learning being fun for myself, right? And it's very healthy, for your brain to learn stuff. So learning 4 or 5 different Slavic languages might sound like more work than just learning inter-Slavic, but it's fun. It's fun. I want to get there eventually. I don't need to speak them all as fluently as I do English right now, but at least I can try and see where that gets me, right? And if I manage to meet some Polish people and talk to them over Discord or something, that would be even nicer. Theoretically, Polish and Ukrainian are 2 different subgroups, East and West Slavic, but I think there is a dialect continuum. When I read or listen to Serbo-Croatian, I have similar feeling as when I do same thing with Czech. Well, yeah, I suppose. I mean, Czech is different, but it sounds somewhat closer to me than Polish. Northern Chimp lexical similarities. I've heard Medj Sloviansky understood everything. That's quite interesting project. Yes, Medj Sloviansky or Interslavic is designed in a way that, when you have every Slavic language has a word for something, and the other Slavic language might have a slightly different word for the same thing, but in some older dialects of the first language, there might be some slang to the same thing from that from what is used for that same word in the other. I'm not sure how to put it, but Interslavic works in a way that it finds the common word for as many things as possible and just mixes those into one assembled language, right? So if one word is the same in as many as possible Slavic languages, like in 5 of them at least, then it will be used that word. And in the 6th Slavic language, this word will be completely different. So the listener will not understand, but the listener will understand the rest of the sentence. And by using the regular human intelligence, it will fill up those remaining 10%. The I apologize. That's how it's supposed to work, right? Have you heard about Steve Kaufman and his methods? I have absolutely not. Which alphabet is better for Slavic languages? What do you think, Latin or Cyrillic? We don't like it here in Poland because of Russians, but in practice it might be better suited. Which alphabet is better? That doesn't sound sensible to me. There is no better alphabet because in Croatian we have, how would I put it, fairly plain characters, right? The Croatian alphabet, it's just A, B, C, D, J, J, Ch, J, J, and it's just for me it's normal alphabet, and it's paired with the it's paired with Latin letters, right? So Cyrillic has special letters that is more suited for Russian, and it's paired better. I don't think that it matters which one you use, as long as it's naturally paired. It doesn't make too much sense. From the other perspective, I think that maybe Cyrillic first using countries might have a little bit of a problem with dealing with two alphabets, because the West is predominantly Latin, right? So Russians, when they want to, or Ukrainians or Serbians, right, when they want to participate in all of the internet chat, they need to swap the keyboard, right? They have to have two keyboards. My phone is kind of ringing, but let me just take this call for a second. I'm back. Family business. Wife is calling to ask why is my daughter not answering the phone. Hopefully I dealt with that. Oh, the chat is still on which the alphabet is more suited, but I don't think it matters. What you Croatians think about Polish people? Are there any positive or negative connotations, associations, famous people, any emotions, or not at all? I think generally, not generally, it's not a very smart idea to generalize, because I think the individuals have their own subjective opinions on, I guess, everyone and everything. So generalizing about the entire nation, what we think about another entire nation, you might ask me one thing and my neighbor will tell you a complete opposite. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't asked him or her, but it's not like my friends and circles. It's not like we discuss Polish people, from time to time maybe, but very rarely. Americans are pretty much on the table every day, and maybe Germans in the last days or months, as they're always in the center of some kind of internet politics. But famous people, nothing special. I mean, Poles. Do you say Poles in English? Polish people, Poles. Poles sounds funny when I say Poles. Pole is usually, a stick. But yeah, I think Polish people are pretty cool, in my opinion. Like very traditional and pretty based and resistant to a lot of Western influence that is trying to happen. I'm not here to judge anyone, but in my book, that's a plus. So it is what it is, right? But that's not the reason why I choose Polish language to practice, because I would like to. I don't know how fast am I going to learn, so I would like to learn as many as possible. Hopefully all of them, but that's a little bit of a huge bite to it. But the Polish is kind of a good as a starting point, because I feel like it's a midway from the most distant Slavic language from mine to the closest one. So like in the middle ground, and there are a lot of Polish people. Like it's a huge nation. I should be able to find kind of internet friends to talk to and practice Polish easier, maybe. I mean, more people, more chances to meet someone who is willing to talk to me, and more. I noticed there are a lot of Linux people, especially on YouTube, who speak only Polish and have Polish only YouTube channels. So that's interesting. Although I still don't understand anything, but it might be a good chance to listen on a topic that interests me in a language that interests me. So that was also a nice idea. Also, I would like to read the Witcher books, Wiedźmin, in Polish someday. It will take a while to get there, but it's one of the books that I would like to read. A lot of IT people from I mean, there is a lot of IT people from all of the countries, right? Sapkowski, Wiedźmin, yes. I got the books in English, but then I was thinking how Croatian is a lot more suited to be to have these books translated, because I'm not saying that English translation is not good, because if the translator is a professional, then it's probably good. But I am thinking that there may be some Slavic core of the language that is not translatable to English. and I'm kind of afraid that the whole book experience might get lost a tiny bit. It shouldn't matter too much if you if you get the gist of the story, you get it right. But if you can, but if I could learn the language, then read the original. That might be a superior experience. But that's just my opinion. It likes connecting two good things together, like reading the book that I want to read and learning the language that I want to learn. So if I can connect these two together, why not? You know. How is it possible that you seem to not have any Red Hat related videos? Well, I am not a fan of Red Hat as a company. No matter this, how do you call this? Prop. This is a prop, right? This is a prop that attracts a little bit of that attention, right? When people see the thumbnail, some of them come to my videos and start watching them and already start typing in the comments how they hate a Red Hat, how they hate me for being a Red Hat guy. And I'm like, dude, this is a hat bought like in a random store in London. What are you talking about? I don't even like the company, but it is what it is. The story, ham radio from the balcony, and a phone call again. I really need to answer this. Wife is, wife is the boss. What can I do? The story. My throat is totally screwed. The story of this hat is like this. In 2023, it was July, my family and I are walking down to London, and there is a store window with hats. And I accidentally stop and watch, and there is this hat literally in the window of the store, like looking at me, and it's saying, through the glass, it's saying, "Buy me, buy me, buy me." And I'm looking at the hat, and I'm thinking about my YouTube channel, and I'm like, yeah, I know why I need to buy you. And I'm just like entering the store, put it on my head, and this is going to serve the purpose like in an excellent way. And then I tried some other hats, and just for shits and giggles, and all of them were crap. And I took this one, and I'm pretty happy with how it served the purpose, right? So there are a lot of people who come to my channel and say that the hat is cool, maybe not even knowing the meaning of it. And there are some who hate both Red Hat as a company and me, who is wearing something that is reminding them of that company. And usually I get along with those people as well. You just need to get the conversation started until they realize what this is for, right? There may be some Red Hat videos in the future, but right now I don't really have a reason for that. I just roll the dice every time I record, and whatever it happens. The way I feel that day, right? I'm just catching up with the chat. I understand I've preferred to read Russian classics like Dostoevsky in Polish over English. Other Slavic languages translation to other is better suited indeed. I don't like Red Hat, but you are not Red Hat. I am definitely not. I am me. Northern Chimp, I didn't knew I didn't knew Russian simplified alphabet. How much? Russians simplified their alphabet? First time I hear of that. First time I hear of that. While you guys are still discussing the alphabet, I was. I'm not sure if I showed this. I think I did on one of my videos. I got this PCI riser for my new tiny PC that is supposed to be OpenBSD router. However, I lost my network card that I prepared, and I have a lot of junk on my desk and in my closet. I need to clean up a lot of stuff to find my network card so I can start installing OpenBSD. If I don't find it, I'm just gonna install it with one network card for the time being, because the project shouldn't stop because I lost the network card. Or if I really lost it, then I'm just gonna buy a new one. How much Serbian and Croatian differs beside alphabet? Well, almost none. I mean, it is different, but not really. There are certain words that I cannot get out of the top of my head, maybe, but when I hear them, I understand them. But that might be due to me not being actually born in Croatia. I was actually born in Yugoslavia. I mean, which is Croatia, but when I was born, we were talking and learning Serbo-Croatian as a language in schools, right? So the language that I know, I pretty much know all of the Serbian language, but it's so tiny. The difference is so tiny that it really doesn't matter. You know, I don't know if I can even remember a different word in Serbian. Maybe mieszana pizza, like mixed pizza. What do you call it? Pizza with mushrooms and capricciosa, is it? That with mushrooms and ham and cheese. We call it mieszana pizza, which literally translates to mixed pizza. And in Serbian, it's kombinovana pizza, and kombinovana comes from combination. So it's a slightly different word, but examples like that, right? There is nothing that any Serb can say that I don't understand. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's similar enough that there is nothing in any sentence that any Croatian can say to Serbian or Serbian to Croatian without each one understanding the other completely. Even if you miss one word, the structure of the sentence will fill the rest pretty nicely. So it's case like Macedonian and Bulgarian. I am actually not familiar with how different Macedonian and Bulgarian are. Mieszana pizza, so you would say exactly like in Polish. Yes, mieszana. Kombinowana. We wouldn't say that sober in that combination, but it's a word here in Polish. Zdravo, Ivan Šimišić. Ivan, we are talking about the Slavic language differences. Currently, we are pairing Serbian and Croatian. We don't have any Serbs in chat right now, but it would be cool if some Serb would join, so he could add to the words pool, right? They removed several letters in 1918. AG, the three I-like ones, only I is left. Even why Croatian is the superior, is the Proto-Slavic language. I don't know. It's your time to argue, Ivan. We are all equal here in our arguments. It's closer to Old Slavonic Church. Which one? The Russian? Or you're talking... I lost my track. In which ones are you talking, guys? I actually suck at history, so I'm not going to pretend that I know when Ivan is joking or when he's serious. You will be the judge of that. Amir, by the way, do you know any other Serbian words other than kombinovana pizza? I can't really remember from the top of my head. Sadly subject to imperialistic tendencies of neighbors. Talas like a wave. Val vode. Čuprija. I actually don't know what Čuprija is, but if you put it in a sentence, then I will know. Čuprija. Give me a hint. I'm just looking at the chat. Maybe I should pull my chat over to the other side. Just chatting. Čuprija is Turkish by origin, but what is it? Čuprija is bridge? Really? Bridge? That sounds quite unnatural. I thought Croats were a group of Slavic-sized Iranic tribes. Alexei, so you're going to set up an OpenBSD router. Do you have any plans of using it on desktop? Well, in theory, yes. Let me just show you my new router here. It's here. So this one, just for you to see the size of it, it's a tiny PC, right? This slot here, or I turn it, this slot here, this is PCI Express slot, which pairs with this riser card, right? So this is where the second network card is going to go. The first one is, of course, here. And this is the 8th generation Intel CPU with 16 gigs of RAM. And for the desktop, I have ThinkPad T580 that I'm using for the for all of the testing. So I can and probably will install OpenBSD on the laptop as well to get a feeling on how usable it is as a desktop. I already tried FreeBSD, so I have a basic idea on how useful FreeBSD is, and my voice is going to hell again. So I might install it to both computers at once on the tiny PC just for the routing and maybe some internet services, because at home I have a couple of tiny servers that I use for various stuff. Here you can't quite see it, but in front of my keyboard I have Raspberry Pi 5, which is hosting my other not YouTube but video channel, my PeerTube channel, right? Let me just link it. Click, copy, paste. So this This in chat is the link to my PeerTube channel, which is hosted right here on my desk on the Raspberry Pi. So I was thinking if the tiny PC in the role of the router will not be utilized enough, and I bet it won't. Then I was thinking about putting my videos on it as well, and maybe my web page. These are all fairly light tasks, right? So I'm going to learn, step by step. Let me just first learn how to deal with the firewall commands, because I already have MikroTik, which works perfectly, but I just want to replace it because, why not? And do some open source and free software routing instead of the fully working ones. I'm like that. Northern Chimp is underselling us. I'm telling ya. I gotta go check other subs. I'll let you discuss our languages in peace. Ivan out. Okay, Ivan, I didn't see when you left, but you said do svidanja or da svidanja. Northern Chimp, Horvat equals allies in Old Persian. Interesting. Alexei says, I tried many years ago and it had way better 802.11 support than FreeBSD, but seemed quite slow, and I needed Bluetooth support, which it didn't have anymore. I think OpenBSD still does not have Bluetooth. I mean, I don't really plan to use it as a desktop. At least I don't have plans for it. But when I start trying something and I see how usable it is, maybe I'm going to end up liking it and using it more. Who knows? I mean, the FreeBSD experience was pretty good on my laptop, but less than perfect, because this Linux PC that I use, my primary PC, a lot of things on Linux just work, right? You have the USB webcam. You just plug it in. You start the OBS Studio for streaming, and you add the camera source, and you're done. You take the audio interface card, you plug it into the USB interface, you select the microphone source in the OBS Studio, and your microphone works. You're done. In FreeBSD, I had to install not really install drivers, but I actually forgot the procedure, but webcam don't work on FreeBSD out of the box. You have to make them work, and making them work is a little bit of a procedure, and it would be all nice and well if they would work in perpetually, but at one point I have plugged in a webcam and then a microphone, and then my headphones didn't work, and then I managed to make my headphones work, and then I prepared for recording, and then my microphone did not work again while it worked before, and it was it's a little bit of a hassle, because it does not work as plug and play. So Linux is much more comfortable for when you need to get stuff done. With FreeBSD, a lot of stuff require manual intervention, like Linux used to be like 20 years ago. It feels like that when I don't know how old you guys are, but with Linux, when modules were pretty new or they didn't even exist, at some point you would need to get the source for the kernel and recompile the kernel with support for your graphics card, for your modem, for their internet, for your sound card. You have to know which parts of the kernel you need for the drivers in order for stuff to even begin to work. And you can't just do, today you can just install Linux on external hard drive and use it as a, you can boot it on your laptop, and then you can shut it down and take your hard drive and plug it into a completely different laptop and just boot it up, and everything will work out of the box, because that's how Linux operates. It's the set of hardware detection in most distribution is top notch. It's excellent, and it's really amazing how far it went. People don't even look back to where we were like 20 years ago. It was a lot harder to get stuff running, right? And on FreeBSD, it's a hit and miss with stuff. Some things just work, some things need a little bit of effort, and this effort requires a little bit more effort to continue having this stuff work. And I kind of expect with OpenBSD to be even worse. However, I'll stop there until I get some more experience, right? I read that summer doesn't mean it's true about Horvat meaning allies in old Persian. It felt more organized compared to FreeBSD. So OpenBSD is more organized. Well, what I do know is that OpenBSD guys are the ones who are actually making the firewall, right? The network stack. And the network stack on FreeBSD is just the old version of what OpenBSD has. I'm not sure about NetBSD, but OpenBSD is like the king of the hill regarding when you need networking stack. And if you're building a router and a firewall, then OpenBSD is like the number one idea that you're taking into the not conversation, but consideration. And you could go with the easy point and click interface, pfSense or OpenSense. These are all based on FreeBSD, right? I'm not saying that I prefer to do it by hand and by config files. I just want the most modern and most capable network stack of all of the Unix systems. So Linux is not yet there. It's pretty good, but BSDs are above, and OpenBSD is like above of the above. Like the latter has 3 firewalls. One of them is an ancient OpenBSD firewall with ancient version of OpenBSD firewall. Yes, I started using, Alexei says, I started using Linux in early 2000s, so I totally get what you're saying. I tried GhostBSD, but I prefer Linux. So GhostBSD is basically FreeBSD, but maybe made to be easier to install, maybe. And I suppose the desktop is working out of the box without the need to type any commands. But generally, it's just a FreeBSD core, right? It's not. There is nothing about GhostBSD that is more advanced than FreeBSD in terms of the core operating system. It's the same. Would you consider wearing Red Devil ears instead of the hat, for FreeBSD? Ears, like a bunny, but the devil incarnation. I'm not too much into acting like an animal or fury. Furry. I don't want to be a furry. Although the devil is not a furry, but I don't know, animality. It doesn't sound like something. That would be fitting of my character. FreeBSD network stack is their own, if you recall, using NetGraph, but one of the FreeBSD firewalls is indeed based on an ancient OpenBSD one. Um, well, you got me there. I have more to research, but where I did get so far is that OpenBSD should be a little bit more advanced of all of them, right? GhostBSD comes with a desktop, it uses Mate. Ghost means GNOME hosted. Well, fine. I mean, I just installed FreeBSD on my laptop, typed a couple of commands, and I got Wayland and Hyperland running and KDE running on X11. It's pretty easy. I mean, it's not like it's it's not like GhostBSD brings to me. I don't think I would benefit from something that GhostBSD would bring to me. There might be a good value in me trying it out, so I can maybe recommend it to someone. But usually, I like the top 3 distributions, right? I am a Debian fan, so I have used Debian for a lot of years. I used Ubuntu for a while because it did bring something new to the table, although it's pretty much based off of Debian. Then, Fedora. I tried Fedora. I didn't generally like it. The first week we didn't end up well, but generally I don't have the need to try the derivatives of Fedora. If the Fedora doesn't fit me, then I'm just gonna skip it, right? And same with Pop! OS. I mean, it's just Ubuntu. Mint is fine, I guess. It's still Ubuntu, but it brings the Cinnamon desktop in the first plan. So if you are into the Cinnamon, then I guess you're going to use Mint. But then again, then I would pick the Linux Mint Debian edition. That's the one I tried because I prefer to be as close to the mother distribution as possible, right? And then people ask me, why do I use Arch Linux and not maybe Endeavor OS? Like, what's the benefit of me switching to Endeavor or Manjaro or whatever? I only see the negative sides of that. I mean, the Arch gives me everything that Arch is supposed to be, like bleeding edge packages, fantastic documentation. Everything just works. There's a lot of packages, and switching to what is it called, EOS, Endeavor OS. It only kind of gives me an easy installer. Why do I need an easy installer? It might be good for someone. I just don't need that. I install Arch once and then I'm done with it, right? It's not a big deal. Ham Radio says I'm on Arch, but I did use the Arch installer script. I saw the script. I saw the script on my friend's computer, and I don't really see the benefit of that unless you are in a hurry, because I'm not telling you that you shouldn't have used the script. I'm trying to explain how I came to Arch, right? I was a Debian user, and at some point I needed newer kernel drivers for my graphics card that comes bundled with the newer kernel, right? I could have used the backported kernel, but then I had to use the newer version of GameScope from Valve and the newer Mesa drivers, and all of this a little bit complicates Debian installation, and it's not anymore working the way Debian designed it to be operated. You plug in a lot of external stuff and a lot of external repositories, and things could break at some point, and it gets harder to maintain. And I just said, screw it, let's go with Arch, which will give me all of the latest stuff, so I can continuously try all of the latest software. That's the that's the whole hobby that I'm doing, right? It's not very practical to try new stuff with a 2-year-old obsolete distribution, no matter how fan I am of the Debian system, right? And when I was switching to Arch, this is now the answer that I was going for. When I was switching to Arch, I really wanted to dig as deep as I can to learn about how the system works. So I just took the Arch wiki, I went through the whole installation procedure, and it's actually really easy. You know, you just make the partitions, choose whatever the file system that you like. At first I went with ext4, then I reformatted and reinstalled, and then I went with the oh, my brain rot is starting to kick in. The stream has been going on for a while. Better file system, so I can do the snapshots, because snapshots are useful with the bleeding edge rolling distribution, so you can roll back when you break it. So snapshots are good. Button file system is good. Installing the base packages is like the one-liner. You know, it's a command really long, but it's just one line. You need to set up the keyboard, the stuff like that. It's relatively fast and painless, and once you get it running, then you know how it goes from that point on. You just use Pacman for whatever. And one of the things that is maybe specific for me, I don't use our Arch user repository. It's not. I don't like the idea of it. I mean, I like the idea of it. People providing more to the distribution, but it's not the official packaging, and I feel like this could break my system sooner rather than later, and I just turn to Flatpak when I miss something in the not Debian, Arch main repository and extras. Did you ever try Nix OS? Nix, not really. I didn't. I don't know what to do with it. As I understand it, it's not actually a distribution. It's more like a package manager. But no, I don't see where I could try it on my test laptop and see where it leads me, and this is something that I will probably do at some point. I just don't see myself using it, as I don't know how to fit myself into that, right? We have hundreds of different Linux distributions, maybe not drastically different, but there are a lot of them. And some are more suited to some people, some are more suited to other people. For example, the latest trend of making immutable distributions, this is something that I really don't see myself using. It's not an answer for Nix, but it's like a continuation of this answer, because immutable distributions are something that is like as unbreakable as you also cannot modify it. And I love modifying my operating system. Like, I love to be able to tinker. You know, the very popular joke command rm dash rf and slash, you know, which should delete most of your file system, right? I love to have the power to do that. And with immutable systems, usually I cannot even install Emacs because the distribution did not envision the user to use Emacs. So they usually tell you, go use DistroBox. if I'm going to use Emacs through DistroBox, then I could do that on any other distributions. And why would I use the immutable one? I don't know. Maybe it would be good, if I would be in charge of some larger company where a lot of people not technically experts are working on computers, I would probably come to conclusion that it would be in my best interest as a super administrator to make my own version of immutable Linux distribution and just put it on all computers so nobody can break it, right? It would be very much easier for me to maintain the whole company of hundreds of same computers. I would have a lot easier time deploy everything because all of the computers would be exactly the same, and that's the angle where I see myself in some hypothetical scenario with immutable distros. Maybe some normie users who want Linux to get out of their way and they just want to play games or use Word like LibreOffice or surf the internet. Maybe for them immutable distro would be very nice, like the KDE one that I tried on the last stream. It's a neat idea. I wouldn't really use it because it's not good for my hobby, right? I need to be able to tinker. So NixOS might be good for that. I'm just not there yet. So there is the Nix package manager and the NixOS distribution. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Alexei says didn't like Arch at all, felt too manual and a bit messy with Our and all that third-party stuff. Well, the thing about Our is, Alexei, that I don't use it at all. Yeah, Our does not exist for me, and that's a perfectly fine way to use Arch. You will have less packages that way, yes, and then you need to fall back to installing manually via Targus compressed files and compiling it manually, or using Flatpaks or snaps or whatever. There is always a way, right? So right now I'm using OBS from Flatpak, and the reason is not that I don't have Our. The reason is not that OBS is not in Arch main repository. The reason is not that OBS is not the latest version on Arch, but the actual reason is that OBS is promoting Flatpak version as the version that they prefer me to use, and I needed some plugins that were easily obtainable through the Flatpak. And let me just check which plugins that was. Flatpak list, is it? Okay, list grep OBS Studio. Okay, yes. So I needed a move transition. It's not currently active, but it basically gives me a shortcut for my it basically animates the images live on my screen. It can move my camera as an animation and similar stuff. But the other one, I needed a DroidCam plugin. It's basically for my smartphone, the application that translates, that streams from my smartphone to the OBS plugin via Wi-Fi, and then it acts like how do you say it? In OBS, I just get the camera from my phone. This is not a smartphone. I mean, it's Symbian, but that's not the one. The reason why I chose the Flatpak version, because the OBS DroidCam plugin was only available as a Flatpak version. And this was the reason why I had to switch. And then I find out that OBS developer is preferring this version and they are giving better support for it. And that's how I got more into Flatpak packages. I also have, let me just check my install. I have some browsers that I'm testing, like LibreWolf, Florp, Devolution, that's Diablo game, Fujin Media Player. What I have here, Raspberry Pi Imager from Flatpak, because that's not in Arch repository. Telegram I'm using from Flatpak because it automatically updates, though the manual version also automatically updates itself, but whatever, I like to try different versions. And that's about it. That's all that I have from the FlatHub installation. You can modify immutable distros with something like OS3. I heard about that, but I can't claim that I am familiar yet. I mean, how much tinkering does that require? I mean, is it like using a Pacman in some kind of root access and then just applying via OS3, or how does it work? In NixOS, you make and configure and maintain your own immutable image by editing your Nix configuration, so it's actually modifiable. Okay, I did hear that NixOS gives you an opportunity to, how do I put it, to have like config files which you can redistribute as many times over and over, and each time you get the same result, right? So you can set up one OS and then just copy the config file to a different computer and get the exact same one. So somewhat that sounds cool if you have the need to do that repeatedly, right? Maybe this new knowledge will get me closer to NixOS. Thanks for that. Thanks for that advice. Alexei says, I mean, instead of rm, one can the drive, so not unbreakable, and not giving user root access is more than enough to not let them damage the system. I suppose, but Alexei, what I meant with maintaining hundreds of same computers in a company, would it be easier for you as administrator of the IT head? Would it be easier for you to just deploy? You know how SteamOS works, like with AB partitions. When you are updating, you run the update command, and then the whole new operating system just sits on the other partition, and then you reboot into the other partition, and the first one stays. So if there is a problem, you can go back. KDE does that as well. So that's one way of maintaining. And when you say you just don't give them root, in that case, you have to run let's say that you give Debian. So that's a super stable one, right? Let's say that you are updating Debian every, I don't know, once per month or something. You ran the command on every computer, and sometimes these update commands have questions for you because something has changed in the configuration files, and you need to decide whether or not to override the config file. Or when you're doing the major upgrade every 2 years, then you get a whole lot of questions from Debian upgrade script. So I think this could be foolproof if you try hard enough, but immutable ones I think are much easier to maintain because once you try it on one computer, you can just drop it on all of the others. They will just reboot into the new version with no questions asked. I think it's easier. Am I wrong? I don't know. I'm just thinking how I would try to do it if I was in such role. You were talking about immutable systems. I was talking about immutable systems as well. Alexei says OS3 basically applies an overlay on top of existing image, but as far as you know, devs are saying against using it and just use DistroBox Flatpak Podman. Well, yeah, I mean DistroBox is it's a band-aid. It's it's good enough. It's good enough. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying it's not good. It's just not a native, a truly native experience like you get with something like normal classical distribution, which in turn gives you all of the packages that you need, right? I mean, with Debian, I want to use the latest Emacs, and I can't do that unless I pull the from the backports. And when I first pulled from the backports, there was a problem with I spell something because some of the upstream packages were not in sync, and things can break a little, and then you can always compile from source, but things start getting complex over time. So I prefer to have picked a distribution which serves my current needs well, right? I'm not saying that other people need to use Arch. It's just that Arch is serving this hobby that I'm doing right now pretty damn well. And all of the rest of the distributions I can test on my laptop that is behind me. Alexei says that's about image-based deployment, but this doesn't require it to be immutable. That's the way most IT departments have been deploying systems for decades, using pre-built images, but not immutable. Maybe you're right. I mean, no, I know what you're saying, but I'm just trying to wrap my mind around all of the technologies that we have upon our disposal as administrators. And if you would put me in this role, I would no doubt try to do it the way I said. And if that would prove to be not the most optimal way, then I would pick the most optimal way after some testing. When you hire a guy, this guy on a certain job, right? This guy doesn't change the company in one day. There is always testing and thinking about how to deal with hundreds of computers at once. It's very easy to deal with one or two computers, right? Or 10. But when you have a lot, then I think it's really important to make your job as easy as possible so that you can make the job of all of the other people using your computers as easy as possible, right? That's the goal. The company must function. Potato Chip says, I quit NixOS for being too immutable and use CachyOS, which is Arch based, is it? What is the benefit of CachyOS without me using the search engine now? What do you get from Cachy that the mother Arch does not give you, except I suppose the easier installation? I'm just into the kernel optimization. Oh, Cachy uses some kernel hacks, right? Like more more than Arch gives you. Arch has like the regular kernel, the long-term support one, the real-time kernel, and there's the fourth one with some optimizations, but I don't quite remember. I was actually planning to make some tests with video games in between these four kernel versions on Arch. Oh, so Cache is more gaming focused kernel based on TKG kernel. What is TKG? I don't remember that name. Maybe while you're typing, I can search for it. TKG kernel. What is TKG kernel? Tuning kernel is a highly customizable kernel-built system that provides a selection of patches and tweaks aiming for better desktop and gaming performance. Maintained by Etienne Yevgeny and offers various CPU schedulers including CFS, Project C, PDS, Project C, BMQ, a lot of words that I'm not entirely familiar with, and okay, customizable alternative schedulers, patch management. Users can apply their own patch files using the provided scripts, which will be merged with the kernel sources. Compilation. TKG uses scripts to automatically download, patch, and compile the Linux kernel from official Linux Git repository. Okay. That would actually be interesting to test because when I was, as I said moments ago, I was considering making a separate YouTube video in terms of performance difference in video games on Arch Linux between all of the four offered kernels. So I imagine that there will be a difference between LTS kernel and the normal one, because of course the one that is LTS is usually a year older, up to a year older. So the performance is probably going to be worse as the older drivers. And then there is some optimized kernel, not sure for what, but it's worth checking out. And there is also real-time kernel, which I'm not sure how it would behave in video games, but I would imagine that real-time kernel would make the average frame rate lower in video games. That's like my logic. But maybe the how do you call it in video games? Maybe the 1% lows would actually be higher than with the normal kernel. So what I think that real-time kernel could give you is a lesser performance in games, but more stable. And that's my expectation. And I could maybe add a Cache OS to the same testing procedure and just give people a chance to see a measurable difference in video games, right? That's something that I would like to learn. So I imagine that there will be audience that would be interested in hearing the results of that. You can only, Aurora says, fully understand NixOS after you try it. I bet that's true. And there is already okay. These are my babies. T480 and T580. They are pretty much the same. One is using Arch Linux because the smaller one I use to basically do whatever I use here on my main computer. So the whole setup is pretty similar, except I am on a desktop environment here, while on the laptop I use Hyperland. 14-inch screen is perfect for tiling window manager, but the rest of the stuff I have is pretty much the same on my main PC and that laptop, while the bigger one I use for testing all kinds of stuff. And when I come to the question of NixOS, I will test on T580. Sounds cultish, says Northern Chimp. I mean, we in Linux we have a lot of cults, right? We have an Arch cult, we have a Nix OS cult. I'm sure there is, I wouldn't really say that Debian is a cult. This is more servers are well known for Debian, as it's a fairly stable distribution, and people who don't want too many surprises on their desktop, that's who Debian mostly is for. But yeah, I mean, I have close to 100 videos on my channel, and in most of the replies I get people who use NixOS, I get people who use CachyOS, lots of them actually. I got a lot of Endeavor users. I'm just saying from on top of my head from the comments, right? People write, I'm using this OS, I'm using this OS. Some of you guys are on FreeBSD as well, quite a few actually. And of course a lot of Arch users. Some tend to mention Pop OS, some Fedora users, but mostly it evolves a lot of around Arch and its derivatives. NixOS not so much, but I did see some of you in my comments with Nix being mentioned. When I see the Steam monthly charts, right, when you see which distribution of Linux is the top Steam distribution, usually it's just Arch, and that used to be a little bit surprising to me, but as I switched to Arch, I kind of understood why gamers tend to revolve around around Arch. Debian users just don't have enough free time to write YouTube comments. I'm not sure how to take that, to be honest. Do you mean like don't have free time because they are busy doing some work? Or no free time because they're trying to make their distribution function for their needs, as it's always obsolete? I tried to fix the obsoleteness of my Debian. As I told you, I am a Debian fan. I tried to fix the obsolescence of my Debian by using a lot of stuff from Flatpak and Snaps for a while. I didn't like Snaps, but not for the reason that most people dislike them. I have a different one, but the Flatpak could not solve some of the core problems with the OS. Kernel, okay, you can get kernel from the backports, but KDE is something that frustrated me a lot, because KDE is stuck on a version that is called long-term support 1, but Debian for some reason is not pulling the newer long-term support packages for KDE, and that's kind of stupid in my mind. A lot of people tried to justify why Debian is not pulling the new packages, but if it's long-term support 1, then why not use the upstream patches? I don't understand it. There are some bugs that really frustrated me in version 5.27.5, which is in Debian stable. So I wanted the newer KDE. It doesn't really need to be version 6. I just wanted the latest version 5, and I couldn't get that on Debian. Also, Mesa, you can get the latest Mesa by using external repository, but that's when stuff gets messy. Mesa and messy. Okay, I didn't mean that, but yeah. And then you need the compositor from Valve if you're playing video games. I need the GameScope, and getting the newer version of GameScope also requires a lot of manual work. It's just did not work as well for my hobby anymore, and I figured that you can't really make a Debian completely up to date, not even with using the flat hub as a crutch. So it is what it is, right? Alexei says because people using Debian stable are usually not Linux enthusiasts. They just want stuff to work and not mess with it too much. So they tend to do other stuff instead of closely following Linux news. Mesa is in backports, by the way. Oh, okay. The thing is, I use Debian still on my work computer because it's precisely as you said. When I go to work, I need to get my job done, and I cannot afford my operating system to decide not to feel like working today. With Debian, I have some problems, but every day I have the same problems. This is something that I expect when I come to work. So usually it's a couple of tiny things that don't really bother me, and this is perfectly fine. I rather stay in that limbo scenario until further notice for my work, right? Because if I would switch to Arch for my work, then I would have the latest Plasma. And what happens with the latest Plasma? A couple of months ago, I have version 6 on my main PC. The network widget thing, which you connect to networks, right? I use that at work. I have like 15 VPN connections at work. I use them all every day. And all of them were doubled in one of the KDE versions because I updated everything to the latest version on Arch, and it just broke. Networking part of KDE looked broken. It worked, but it was less than ideal. So when you have bleeding edge packages, you get bleeding edge problems. It's not perfect for every line of work. I get it, the same issues with versus new issues every once in a while, yes. People used to warn me how Arch is unstable and how it's going to crash on me and break. I don't know when should I expect this, but it has been 6 months since I installed it, and I am a new Arch user. Nothing broke so far. Everything is updated every day. Sometimes I leave it for a couple of days and then update, but usually I just roll it all the time, right? Twice so far in 6 months, it happened that the pacman cu command did not want to update my system because one of the packages that was supposed to be pulled from the updates was not in sync with another one that was supposed to be pulled, and nothing was updated. Nothing broke. It just refused to update, and I was like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. And tomorrow it was in sync, and then I just fired the update command and it was fine. So I don't really even consider this a problem, because with Debian SID, which I tried to use as a rolling distribution, and I don't even consider that a rolling distribution, but in theory you could treat it that way, that one breaks all the time. I mean, that one has out of sync packages all the fucking time. And I'm not even sure if I can say that on YouTube, but I did not like the experience of Debian Sid in the role of, when you have something that's literally called unstable and you try to call it rolling. I mean, Arch rolling is not as unstable. They actually go through the testing procedure for a while. Captain Button Smash, I haven't seen you in chat so far, so welcome in. Nothing wrong in just wanting stuff to work. We take it slowly by need to learn basis. Yes, exactly. Thinking about streaming gaming on Linux. Debian Sid is rolling by definition. Well, Alexei, Legisoft, I'll go back to your question. Alexei, Debian Sid, do you know why I am insisting in calling it not rolling? The reason is because if you take a distribution which is rolling by the very marketing behind it, let's take Arch as a most popular example of a marketed rolling distribution. This is a distribution that is always evolving perpetually. Arch is always being upgraded to the next level. Everything is building upon one another all of the time. There is no end to it. This is the true rolling. While with Debian Sid, you get how do I put it? You get a feeling. This is not the word that I wanted, but I cannot remember the better one. You get a feeling of rolling for a while, and then comes the time when the new stable distribution is supposed to come out. This is going to happen in a couple of months from now. And this is the point where Debian Sid is going to stop completely. And not only it will not be rolling anymore, it will be forgotten for a while, because all of the focus of their developers goes to the Debian stable to finish making it as stable as possible. So from January, February, March, let's say they freeze it somewhere in March and Debian 13, right? And release it sometimes in July. So that's like 4 months or something. And in these 4 months, Debian Sid will be dead. If you will be a user who believes that is using a rolling distribution, you will get nothing, no updates. Everything is focused on, tell me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, that's how it works. All of the focus goes to the stable being, pushed into the sea, like a new ship that has been built from the testing distribution that has been built from unstable. Captain Button Smash says, thank you, nice channel, thank you very much. Rolling means it doesn't release, it comes from CI/CD. That's what Sid is, it never releases. Yes, but from the rolling distribution, I expect the latest packages, but for 4 months you will get nothing. That's what I'm talking. You will be forgotten. It's not supposed to be used in any sort of production. I don't know. Fight me. Your argument is fine, but I think mine is as well. Northern Chimp says, since I reinstalled the Visual Studio Codium manually with its official apt source, I'm getting the updates on time. Okay. Northern Chimp, I just realized I was lagging. Sorry for late reaction. Okay, Alexis says it's still rolling by definition. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's just not bleed. It is bleeding edge. That's the problem. It is bleeding edge, Debian Sid, up to one date, and then it's not anymore. One can update once a year, but if you don't release it, it's still technically rolling. I agree. It's still technically rolling, but it's rolling, like a wheel which has a flat tire from one side. It rolls and rolls and rolls, and then it stops. And then you have to push it a little bit so it starts rolling again. Does that make sense? So who asked me about video games? Somebody asked me about video games. Leggy Soft, thinking about streaming gaming on Linux. I occasionally stream video games on my Twitch channel. Let me just link it here. Twitch.tv. Leggysoft, here's my link to my Twitch channel. That's where I stream video games, and since I don't have Windows, then technically, yes, I'm streaming Linux gaming because all of the games that I play are on Linux, so that kind of answers your question. It's just that I don't really focus my Twitch channel on much talking about Linux. I just play games when I play games, and that's it. I do talk to chat just as I do now, but it's about video games usually. So if you wish to tune in, sometimes I stream, sometimes I don't. It's not very frequent, but if more people are interested, I might stream more. Would I stream video games on YouTube? That's a good question, because I have a lot of viewers on YouTube who are absolutely not into video games. So from that perspective, I'm not sure if that's a smart idea to kind of spam Linux enthusiasts with video games, because personally, I am very much passionate about video games. I really am a gamer, and about really, how would I put it? When it comes to video games, I tend to forget Linux somewhat. I mean, I don't know how to put it to words to sound truly truthful to what I'm trying to say. I care a lot about video games, and when my brain switched to gaming, I'm no longer thinking too much about free software and how all of the video games should be open source and free software. It's art. I don't expect it to be given away to everyone for free. And I just like to play on Linux. I do expect my video games to function on Linux. That I do. But other than that, when I start playing video games, I kind of turn into a gamer. Like people in movies turn into a werewolf, and then temporarily they are no longer people, technically, and then I just play video games. I will see over time if people would be willing to accept me playing games on YouTube, but in the meantime, I'll just use Twitch for that. Leggysoft says, "Oh, nice! I have a little Twitch too. Same name, lol." What do you mean, same name? Where is the same name? SteamOS has made Linux gaming blow up. That I agree. Yes. Several million regular users now. Yep. Twitch for game stream and YouTube for OS stream would make sense. You'll cross-pollinate yourself. What do you mean cross-pollinate? I don't know that word. Alexei says, what kind of games do you like horror games, RPG? Uh, that's Alexei. I will try to answer this as simple as I can. I like new experiences. Does that make sense? So, for example, I played Witcher 3, awesome game. I played Death Stranding, also fantastic game. I loved it. I played Assassin's Creed Origins, also fantastic game. Then I downloaded Assassin's Creed Odyssey, more of the same. So if I would tell you that I loved Assassin's Creed Origins, then you would think that I like this kind of games. But when you give me more of the same, then no, I am no longer interested. And if you're a company which just recycles the same formula over and over, then I lose interest, if that makes sense. And then I suddenly switched to games like you do remember, I don't know how old you are, do you remember Heroes of Might and Magic 3? This is a classic one. So recently what came out is called Songs of Conquest. That's the one I played recently on Twitch. I even gave away one key for that. I think I have one more. This is like a homage to Heroes of Might and Magic 3, but completely modern one. And it's truly awesome game. It's a turn-based strategy game, right? And this hooked me up for a while. Also, Valheim is something that I am interested in playing. I just kind of decided. I played it a little bit. I do like it, but I'm kind of waiting for them to finish all of the biomes so I can run through it in I wouldn't say one go, but just to have the ability to try out the whole content of the game. So that one is on hold. Sometimes I play racing games, Forza Horizon, or something like that. I wanted to play Flight Simulator for a while, but that one works a bit shit on Linux. So until that starts working well, I will not be giving them any money. Microsoft needs to fix their shit. Sea of Thieves is something that I enjoy a lot, and I have been playing that for probably the most amount of hours I have played any video game. I have toned it down significantly recently. But if any of you are into Sea of Thieves or would like to give it a try, I am always willing to, show you the ropes because there's nothing more fun than showing you guys how to play that game. It's really, really fun. Also, Warframe is one of my favorites of the looter shooter games. I used to play Destiny before, but that one no longer, not no longer, but that one doesn't work on Linux, so screw them. What else? Path of Exile 2 just came out. That one is absolutely awesome. That one is what I'm playing right now. Sometimes I play Vampire Survivors. That's incredibly fun. Let me just catch up with chat. Have you played Soma? I have not played Soma. I did buy another horror game called Marta is Dead. I think it's made in Italy. Marta is Dead. If you can look it up, it's some kind of a single player horror game. I heard the soundtrack and it's awesome. Did my network just die? I hope not. It says no dropped frames, but my chat is gone. Okay, I had to reload my my YouTube page, but luckily that one is not dependent on the stream. Stream is in OBS. Okay, that's nice. The whole page just disappeared where I had the chat. So basically no single genre, just enjoying what you like, exactly like that. Let me just fire up Steam and I will tell you what I have installed at the moment. I have a ton of games installed and just roll through them as I see fit. If it's a single player narrative games, I tend to play it more in one go, because of the story. But Celeste is a platformer, super fun and super heavy. I like to play that one. Skyrim. I have finished the story and a lot of side quest stuff, but there is always something more to explore in Skyrim. I just can't explain it. I am always okay with not knowing what to play today, but I want to play something and I just fire up Skyrim and walk around and just find something new that I just haven't seen before. So that's kind of an amazing game. I do have Forza Horizon 4 installed at the moment. Hogwarts Legacy, I did not finish that one. I do want to finish it. I bought Mindustry. This is actually a free software game, like free software in terms of how Stallman defines a free software game. But I did pay for it on Steam because I wanted it on Steam. Just to support the authors a little bit and not take it for free. And there are some games that I have already mentioned. Battle for Westnot. So this is a 20-year-old game that is turn-based, and it's a little bit of roll the dice, and there is no dice, but it's kind of RNG based with the stats when you hit the enemy, which one will hit whom with how much of the damage, depending on your luck and your stats and where you are in the woods, out of the woods, in the village, out of the village. It's a neat small little game, also free to play. Also not free to play, but free software game. Battle for Westnot, right? Zetsanoid is a little bit of a twin stick shooter game. That's fun. Dave the Diver, that one I started playing a little bit. Doom, the originals, also infinitely fun for me. I also bought Duke Nukem 3D recently, which is something that I also played as a kid when it was new. Fez, like F-E-Z, or in English F-E-Z. That is like a puzzle platformer. Also a cool one. Full Throttle Remastered, that's a old point and click adventure. I want to get into that. I also started playing Monkey Island series, all of them from scratch. I started on Twitch. I will continue that. Sorry for not following the chat, but I do want to continue what I have here. Ixion is a city builder in space. Captain Brave is point and click adventure inspired by Monkey Island, but in space. I have Layers of Fear installed. Leisure Suite Larry, that's something that I wanted to play again. Loop Hero is I don't know which genre is that, but it's nice. Mad Max, I am at the final boss at the moment. I want to finish that one before I delete it. It's super fun. I love it. I do have Minecraft, but I don't play it too much. Pac-Man 256, that's my favorite version of Pac-Man. Prodeus, this is like a modern Doom clone. What else here? Sea of Stars. Sea of Stars is like a JRPG, but I don't think it's made by Japanese. It's just that kind of RPG game. Everyone told me it's awesome, so I bought it. Super Meat Boy platformer, really difficult. Siberia, also an adventure game that I want to play. That's pretty much it. I skipped over a couple of them, which I don't believe I will play. I just wanted to tell you about all of the shit that I have installed that I want to play, but no too much time. I usually, when I make videos for YouTube, it usually takes for the quickest video possible. Like, for example, the last one that I talk about. What was the last one about? It was very short. I have brain rot again. Anyways, the last video I did, that was the one of the fastest video that I made, because everything I said was completely from you know, I was on the top of the topic, right? So I don't need to cut anything, because cutting the pauses takes a lot of time to connect it and to make the transitions not too visible. If possible, if they're visible, then I need to use a lot of zoom in, zoom out effects. The editing takes as much time as I was not prepared for the topic, right? And when I'm well prepared for the topic, then the recording and editing takes less time. So the shortest time from recording to publishing is like 1 hour. And when it gets a bit complex, then it takes, you know, sometimes up to 8 hours to make one video. So imagine if my average is like 4 hours to make one video, and I need to sleep for 8 hours. I need to work for 8 hours, actually 9, because there is traveling with the car. And then I have 7 hours remaining from my life, and I do have a family and everything, and I do need to take my daughter to all kinds of training and activities, spend some time with my wife, and you know, those 4 hours are really, really tight sometimes. And how much time I find left for video games, it's sometimes a hit and miss. Usually I just have to ignore a video publishing for one day in order for me to be able to play a video game. So, you know, when I was playing a whole lot more of video games before this YouTube channel, some of my friends who are not gamers used to ask me quite often, like, how do you find so much time for video games? And I told them, I don't watch Netflix, I don't watch HBO, I don't watch Disney Plus, I don't watch TV, I don't turn on the TV at all, like never. And then I have time for video games. And then all of my friends would tell me, oh, I cannot not watch Netflix. Yeah, I must watch Netflix. There you go, my friend. Priorities. Video games, my priorities. Netflix, your priorities. Simple. So now YouTube is kind of taking the priority because I can't let down my all of you viewers, right? But I do still want to enjoy video games, so it's kind of a balancing thing. And now I'm catching up to the chat. Sorry about talking to myself for so long. Have you played Soma? No, I want to stream Valheim after the final major patch. I love it used to run a server. Let me get back on you. Just need to open the door. You can add a chat web layer in OBS that would show chats on Twitch and YouTube Streamlabs. Chat box is free. Yeah. Hey, hello, Xavier. How are you? I haven't bundled the chat box from YouTube. I did have it functional with Twitch, but I haven't set. This is my second YouTube stream ever, so I just set up the basics so the picture looks okay, I suppose, as much as this webcam can take. Westnot is awesome. I played it so much when I was a student still. It has random, but very fun, yes. And awesome music, yes. Are you a Half-Life series enjoyer by any chance? Yes, I am. I mean, Half-Life was industry technology pushing game back in the day, right? When you were able to break the wooden boxes with your crowbar and stuff like that, and also storytelling being done in engine, and all of the transitions from in engine cutscenes to the gameplay, right? All of this was very revolutionary, and there was nobody who wouldn't be a fan of all of this innovation, right? So yeah. Recently, I played Half-Life Alyx on VR, and that game is absolutely awesome. Like, if you can even just borrow a VR headset, any kind, it's just absolutely awesome. And of course, the originals have now received the updates, the first one and the second one, and there is Black Mesa, the community built version of Half-Life, also awesome edition. I actually started playing Half-Life 1 again, but with VR mode, and then I like jumped to another game, but it's pretty well done. It's pretty well done, the VR mode. Legisoft, I have not had cable TV since 2015. LOL. Well, if it would be up to me, I would not even have any TV used, for TV things, because if I even watch a movie, I watch it on my PC. I don't really need. I don't watch live TV. Locally. Local television. I don't really watch. My wife watches Netflix a lot, so it's her TV. It's her TV, and here I have mine, which is actually a TV, but I use it. I use it as a monitor. Concurrent viewers 11 and like 3 or 4 of you in chat. Who else is lurking? If you like Half-Life 2, there is a lot of good free source engine games on Steam, such as Transmission Element 120. Let me check that out quickly to see what that is. Transmission Element 120, and it's free. Okay, luckily I have muted my desktop because it started playing. So it's 3.5 gigabytes. Okay, I'm going to install it after the stream and try it out, because I don't want to toy with my internet connection too much. Excuse me for a second. My nose is leaking a little bit. I have actually been sick for almost a month now, and it just does not want to leave me alone. Alexei says, I use TV to watch sports and as a giant display for movies. Okay. I haven't played Half-Life Alyx yet, but it's 100% in my must play list. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what your stance on VR gaming is, but VR is not bad when it's well implemented. And as much as Valve with Half-Life has made gaming. I don't know how to put it in words in English, right? But with Half-Life, Valve pushed the industry forward a lot with a lot of technical inventions in video games, right? There is no denying about that. And they did literally the same with Alex. Alex came out. How long did it came out ago? Like 4 years ago? Is it 2020? I'm not actually sure, but let's say 4 years. And in these 4 years, nothing came out that can even match Half-Life Alex in terms of how well implemented this game is in VR. Maybe Horizon game from Sony in PlayStation VR is close, but nobody really talks about that game, so I would suspect it's not that good. And I'm just saying this because I would expect Sony to invest into their VR system like Valve did with a good game. But a lot more people have been praising Alex than I have even heard of the Horizon game, right? And then you have Oculus game. What's it called? The Meta first party one. Something with gods. I totally forgot. If you can quickly search it for me, or maybe I can do that. Meta exclusive VR games. The search is not giving me. It doesn't matter. But there is one game that is exclusive to Meta device, and it got like a 10 out of 10 scores from almost anyone who played it, although very few journalists actually played it, so take that with a grain of salt. But I tried it and it's good. I just think that Half-Life Alex is so damn good that it will take a lot for someone else to invest in VR to leapfrog Half-Life Alex properly in a way that I can say, like, okay, this is like a new bar now. You know, in my opinion, Alex is still the bar with what a good, like, narrative VR game should be. Xavier says I'm well. That's good to hear. Sorry for catching up with chat again. If you like okay, that's I actually read that. I use TV to watch sports. I haven't played Half-Life Alex. I was playing Pokemon Emerald not too long ago. Okay, man. I actually was considering buying a Nintendo Switch a couple of times already. However, it's not that I cannot buy one. It's just that when I buy something, I tend to sell it if I don't use it. So I would probably just lose money on it because I have so little time for gaming just on this one PC, not to mention all of the other gaming toys that I have, including Steam Deck. It's I better not spend money on yet another gaming device. It's just, I don't know, better read books or something. Tebi da završim. Imam live stream. It is very nice. My wife came into the room with the dog, and the dog is wearing a new dress. I'm not even kidding. The dog has a dress. I was actually thinking about showing it on camera, but they left. It's very funny. The dog is in a dress. Ne. Ne. Ma streamam tu cijelo vrijeme. Daj mu sada. Family is getting together. More interruptions is going to happen. Resident Evil 4 VR is fun, but is so limited running on a mobile GPU versus a desktop. Do you mean like Meta Quest or something? What do you mean by limited? I'm actually not too much into horror games. As I said earlier, I did buy Martha is Dead, which is a horror game, but I get stressed. I get stressed a lot when there is like a scene with an expectation and jump scares and shit. So I'm not even sure that I want to experience too many horror stuff. Quest exclusive, quite popular. Well, fine. Yeah, I was actually considering getting a Batman game, but I have time for that. I would actually like, how Valve has a Steam Link application on the Quest, which hooks up your Quest directly to your Steam on your PC. So that one still does not work with Linux, and this is what I would like Valve to fix for me and for everyone else who uses this combination, because I want direct connection to Linux. There is a different solution for that, and it's called, I think, Alvr. Alvr launcher. That one can connect Quest to the Steam on Linux. It's just a little bit complex and a little bit more unstable, and a lot of tinkering with it. And the overall experience that I tried last year on Windows is much better with just the basic Steam Link, in which you don't need to tinker too much. So if Valve would be so kind to make it happen on Linux, that would be much appreciated on my end. I have a Quest Pro, and Steam Link VR supports eye and face tracking. Yes, I know it supports eye and face tracking. Alvr is a cool project. I know one who uses it with an Apple headset, the $3,500 one. That's so much money wasted. I have a Quest 3, so no eye tracking on my end, but the rest is pretty good. In theory, I could install Windows on a different partition and use it for VR games only, but I just don't want to. It's just my decision, and I'm going to continue as I did say in the last video, right? Just Linux gaming, and that's it. Quest 3 has really high quality optics, can never go back to Fresnel. Yes, I absolutely agree on that. I did not understand what people are saying about pancake lenses until I actually tried it, because I did have Quest 2, and with Quest 2 I would use all kinds of applications, right? Applications in terms of reading text, right? And using remote desktop and all kinds of stuff that requires you to read a lot of text on screen. And most of it was fairly readable, but the text was I wouldn't say aliased. It felt like a mix of aliasing and screen door effect and low resolution, right? And then I switched to Quest 3, which technically does have a higher resolution than Quest 2, but not that much, just a little. But the text is so clear, so incredibly clear that I can only believe that this is the difference in lens, right? So, Stuff by Max, what's up? What's up, Max? Welcome in, welcome in. Alexei, have you tried OpenSUSE Tumbleweed, by the way? Rolling comes with Butterfile system and snapshots using Snapper out of the box. I have not tried OpenSUSE any version yet. Stuff by Max. Legisoft is following you on Twitch, says my email notification. Thank you, Legisoft. Stuff by Max. What is it that you wrote me on some of my? Was it on my short? You said Happy Christmas, right? That was you. Yeah, I'm just kind of reading chat, but there's nothing going on in chat. Xavier says, "Oh yeah, Zorin OS fixed the laggy mouse issue." I just got a notification about a follow in. Okay, this is funny. This is funny. I got a notification from what is it called? The Streamlabs bot. You know the sound from Streamlabs bot when somebody follows you. I just don't have it enabled on this screen. I have a mix of settings for Twitch and YouTube because it's a little bit hard to switch in OBS from YouTube to Twitch. Have you tried Resonite? Resonite, a lot of Linux users played because VR chat has easy anti-cheat. VR chat I can play on Quest directly, so I don't really need a computer for that at all. But I don't really enjoy VR chat. I mean, I guess it's fine like a chat room, but I never used it for anything else. Sometimes I hop in and talk to people a little bit if I even manage to find anyone adult. Usually it's just kids, and it has really good hands tracking, so I don't need to use my controllers. But other than that, I'm not particularly a fan of VR chat. Also, I have not heard of Resonite, probably because of the same reason. I'm not into that. I mean, if you're in the mood to meet up in VR chat, I can fire it up on the Quest. But other than that, no particular wishes to spend too much time in there. Although I just remember, did you read about the operating system of the Meta Quest? So they are calling it, I kind of forgot, but they have a name for it. I mean, it's Android, right? But the whole VR thing that they bundled on top of Android, they open source Fiddler, hello. The whole thing that Meta bundled on top of Android to make it a complete VR experience, they are actually now distributing this to other headset manufacturers, and I believe Asus is going to make one of their own headsets with the Meta Quest operating system, whatever it's called. And Meta is even allowing other manufacturers not to bundle the Meta Store for applications, but their own if they wish so. So in one point I was thinking, with all of the leaks, like Valve has been testing games on ARM, right? I even considered if Valve would be releasing a standalone ARM headset with the Meta operating system. I guess you can say it's Linux based because of the kernel, right? But basically it's Meta operating system, like Android plus the layer above. And I thought that Steam might put a Steam store on there, but it's kind of a far-fetched, don't you think? I mean, it would be more logical for Valve to just put x86 into a headset, but that one could use a little bit more energy, and it's questionable if they could achieve 2 hours of battery life, right? Just a second. Ja sam na live streamu, ali sam mutao mikrofon, ili te mogu zamoliti malo vode, umirem od žeđi. Želiš mahati ljudima? Ima ih 12.
Trebala sam usisavač, ali previše buke.
Aha. Lenovo makes the Quest. It'd be funny if they revived their VR brand. Thank you for the water. HTC has made a headset that is like Quest 2 in terms of hardware, I think. The chip, I mean. I'm just not sure if it's using the Meta operating system for VR. You can check it out on their webpage. But the problem is it's already obsolete because it's using the XR Snapdragon Gen 1 chip, you know, the one from 4 or 5 years ago. So that's kind of shit. Nemoj izgaziti u žicu. Valve has good support for the Quest Pro because their unreleased headset has a lot of feature in common. I suppose, I don't know. Not muted? Oh. Not muted. I actually thought that I pressed mute, but I suppose I did not mute myself even previously when I was talking to my wife, right? So, well, no big deal. It is what it is. It's fine. No secrets were spilled. I just wanted to make you not listen to crap that I talk to with my family here. Now you know all your secrets, all my secrets. Yes, that is correct. Now I wonder what did I say to my wife when she entered the room previously, because obviously I pressed the wrong button, and I wonder how did I do that. That's a really good question. Well, I guess I do. Why is it so high? I feel like my mic is too high now. Is it like too loud or something? I feel like I have broken some settings now, but I'm not sure. If it's too loud, let me know. Um, how do you talk to your family? I mean, it's natural language, right? It's not something that is supposed to be in public, right? So that's what the mute button is for. But the fact that I actually did not press the mute button, I actually pressed the 48-volt button. And the way this works is here. This is the preamp that amplifies my microphone with the 27 decibels because the audio interface is not powerful enough to drive this microphone alone. So the way this works is that audio interface, I need to enable 48 volts to be sent to the preamp so that preamp can amplify the microphone and send it back to the audio interface. So when I disable 48 volts, it no longer transmits the sound from the microphone because it requires power to work. The microphone itself does not require power, but the amp requires it. And the amp acts like a block when I disable the voltage. Like here is a test. Like enable the voltage again, and you can hear the effect. And I just use that as a mute button because it's the only hard button that I have that I can use for muting. I could mute myself with the click of the mouse, but whatever. Check for the weed on the table, but I do not think it is high. Check for the weed on the table. Do I have weed? I have chocolate. If you want some. I also have some floppies if you need. Different colored ones. And unused stickers. Don't copy that floppy. Stuff by Max says da dobro. I was behind 6 minutes. I actually think that my stream is very, very laggy. Who can type in chat something? I don't know, ping. Like type ping right now or something. I just want to know. Oh, so it's just 4 or 5 seconds still. Okay, but where I watch my stream, it seems to be lagging a whole lot more. Stuff by Max wants the disc. Okay. Yes, I also have a few. Some even still have my old Turbo Pascal programs I brought to school. You also learned Pascal in school. That was the first language that we learned in school. Although I tried to teach myself basic on my Amiga here when I was a kid, preschool, but I didn't get too far. Right now I'm trying to learn C, but that's a whole another story of all of my hobbies. There's also this Amiga computer here, which was supposed to be another one of my hobbies, but I was thinking about making a whole channel on YouTube just for the Amiga. However, the problem is that I could make quite a lot of content for Amiga, and in order to make quite a lot of content for Amiga, then I would not have time for Linux, and I was like putting it on a scale, and I just said screw it and let's go with Linux. It will have a wider audience for sure, and it's something that a lot of people use, right? So I was thinking maybe dropping some of my desires, my Amiga content into this Linux channel, but I'm not sure how well received that would be. I do know that some of my Linux followers have been Amiga fans previously as kids, but probably just a few of you. You learned BASIC and you learned Pascal on your own. Now you are a C and C++ developer. Well, I have a vague understanding on what that is, but the problem is that as a Linux user, I want to use C as it's kind of the best fit for the for what I want to do, right? So use the best tool for the job, right? So if you're building a web page, you will be using something like a JavaScript and certainly not C. And same goes with coding or programming anything for Linux or BSDs. C is probably the best choice. C++ is probably equally as good for many things, but me as a complete beginner, I have convinced myself that C is easier. I vaguely know what C++ could give me. However, I want less complexity in the programming language for the beginning, and that should be C. And if I ever get to a point where I start believing that C++ would give me benefits towards the goal that I would be having at that time, then I would simply upgrade my C knowledge to C++. That's how I see it. Arduino and C is a good low-level thing to learn. Schools should not start high up with JavaScript. Actually, my kid is 6th grade of elementary school now, and in 5th they started learning Python as their first programming language. So in Croatia they start with Python at the moment and not with JavaScript. C is easier as a language, but also more manual. I know what you mean by more manual, but that's something that I am completely okay with, because I'm kind of a manual person. I like to assemble stuff with my hands and not have... let me put it this way. I don't expect myself to become a well-known programmer, right? The best I can hope to do in the future with all the free time that I have is maybe make some tools for my own usage that would help me, and maybe make one platformer game, which is something that I would like to do. It wouldn't be anything complex, more like a proof of where I am as the level of understanding the programming and APIs. So not something like I would necessarily advertise to the whole world and say like my game is something special that needs to be purchased or something. Like, just proof of concept that I can actually make something usable. That's what I meant. So in order to do that, I wish to understand the language in the low enough level, not use too many libraries. However, when I would get to the video game part, I don't want to code everything. Like I would probably use SDL to drive my controller, keyboard, and the rest of the stuff that SDL does, because that's kind of a bullshit work to do when you are making a game. That's just way too much work to support every kind of keyboard, mouse, sound card in the world. It's just too much unnecessary work, right? Stuff by Max says good Fedora. Thank you. And Python is a good starter language, popular in games along with Lua. My goal, Open Source Fiddler says, is to join the project and help, not to do something on my own. SDL2 is a good choice. So Alexei, there is SDL3 right now as well, but that's not what I wanted to say. There is also another. What is SDL? How do we put it to words? What is it as a type of the helping? It's not a library, but more like an API or something. Stuff by Max in London. I bought it in London. There is something else that can help me make a game similar to SDL, but might be a little bit higher level. Let me just try to search it quickly. I think it's Raylib. Raylib. I'm just watching my stream with a delay here to see how much did my wife go in front of the camera now. I hope for her sake that she did not go in front of the camera. So Raylib. Yeah, Raylib, yes. Raylib is a simple and easy to use library to enjoy video games programming. Let me just link that in chat. So that's one of my ideas to use instead of SDL, but it depends on how high or low level I actually want to go. Marko Jovanovic, Ljudina, hello. Marko, we have been actually talking about Slavic languages like an hour ago, and somebody in the chat, I forgot who, has asked about the differences between Croatian and Serbian. And I just said, like, I know that in Croatian for the capricciosa pizza, we say miješana pizza, and in Serbian you say kombinovana. And that is all that I could remember, because when I come to Serbia, I understand absolutely everything, but I just can't remember the words out on the top of my head, right? If you want, Marko, to talk to the other guys in chat about Serbian language, feel free. But if you don't want to rewind the topic back to that, we can continue with the programming ones. What is your opinion on Go language? As a non-programmer, I don't have opinions on languages, to be honest. It's just that through my little research and with the desire on what I want to accomplish with programming languages, like programming something for Linux and some basic video games like 2D platformer, I simply decided that C should be the best tool for my job and easier to learn than C++. But as well, I can just upgrade this knowledge later to C++. So these two are kind of a bundle, in a way, upgradable knowledge, right? So I did not even consider Go for what I want to do. I've heard it's fine and good. It's just that it never crossed my radar as something that I would want to learn to use. Who uses C# in this chat? Xavier does not know nothing about programming, so he's just chilling. That's okay. Chilling is good. Chilling and typing is in chat is good. For Alexei says, for 2D platformers, maybe Lua with engine like Love 2D would be easier. Alexei, it's not about being easier to make a game. I might have failed to express myself. I don't want to make a simple 2D platformer in as easy as possible way, because the game is not my goal. The voyage is my goal, right? Learning the language, learning the intricacies of how to move stuff on screen. I don't want the engine. I want to make the engine myself. This might sound like overreacting, but I think it's fully possible if you aim for a simpler game in which you will have a character that animates. You will have like tiles, like in old games, right? Think Super Mario, but something modern. So you have tiles of different properties and features. Some are maybe icy, so slippery. So these tiles will have different properties in conjunction to the in contact with the character, right? Compared to concrete ones, which would have different properties of contact with the character. So this is something that would be programmed slowly and patiently in advance, and eventually it would be called an engine, right? Because an engine is when you have all of the base building blocks ready for your game, so that you can make more levels, right? More levels with the same features. So at this point, I might not have explained it properly, but at one point when you find a way to program all of these physics and building blocks that you can just drop into your game, that's basically an engine. It might be crude, but it's still an engine. You know, the engine is a set of tools that you have pre-programmed in advance, with the goal of serving you the need to have the rest of your game development easy. You know, when you have the skeleton of the game ready. You know, that's what I meant. So I will definitely not use any finished engine, because that's not how I can learn the fairly low level stuff. But it's still questionable how capable I am of going low level. I'm not pretending to be a programmer or to know everything. I'm just telling you where I am right now and what is my plan. Legisoft has been learning a little C# because of Unity. And Marko Jovanovic have used C++ for game programming. created 2D video game and published it on Big Fish Games in 2011. Okay, that's a long time ago. It's called Tearstone, and it's hidden object game. Is it on Steam or something like that? Where can I fetch it? I don't even know. Big Fish. Stuff by Max. Is it true that C# got weird syntax? I don't think it has a weird syntax. If something has truly weird syntax, that's Rust. Alexei says, I just think that there are two steps here. One is learning how to program, that is very correct. And two is learning a language. Well, yes, I guess those two are coming one after another. And at step one, language should be as easy and be as out of the way as possible. But that's your 2 cents. But that's what I'm saying. The C language is actually not hard. It's not. Maybe if you think about memory pointers, then people start pulling their hair. But it's actually not that difficult. When in the core, it's very crude and simple, and in theory you can do everything with C. But everything can become very complex in C. But the basics are pretty easy. I mean, Python might be a lot easier because how do programmers call this? Python is like C, but without type. What do we call it? Type setting, type something. You don't have to define types of the variables or something like that. It automatically decides what you want, right? So in that way, it's a lot easier. But when you come to a complex scenario, when you need control, then Python becomes a problem. At least I think it does, because in C, the language forces you to think in defining what is of which type, I suppose. I'm just now talking like a complete noob, which is exactly what I am. But, I think, let me say this. I can very much talk to you guys about everything that you say, but you are not going to make me reconsider, because it has been like a year since I have been doing all of this research, and I have really decided that it will be C. I just need to get going. I actually did start practicing, but in my programming is like video games. One day I'm playing one game, and the second day I'm playing another one. So it's like juggling my free time. Marco says it can be found on Steam as well. So what was the name? What was the name of the game? Marco. I have created Big Fish called Tearstone. Okay. Tearstone. Thieves of the Heart or Tearstone? Let's just click Tearstone. It looks like a ship propelled with a balloon, Zeppelin, something. Dragon Eye Studio, Impossible Mystery Games. Is that it, Marco? Embark on an exciting adventure helping the mysterious professor with incredible discovery in Tearstone. Explore magical locations, uncover priceless artifacts, and discover an array of interesting characters. Yes, Marco. Okay, Marco, do you get any money if I buy this now on Steam? Will this publisher give you any money from my purchase? No? Oh, fuck them then. Okay, I will. Maybe I'll buy it later when I see what it is. I thought that you would get money so I can buy it, but if you're not getting the money, then I don't care about these people. Okay, we can discuss it later. But I will look at it closer because right now I don't want to study the screenshots. It looks nice in the graphics kind of way, art style. I've used SQLite to do my memory management, Lamao databases of allocations. C requires to manage memory manually. It has lots of surprising gotchas and undefined behaviors, etc. It looks simple, but it's really difficult to program with. Alexei, okay. Example, a character C equals 0 times ff if C. I actually don't know how to read that. Puts yes, L puts no. Will print no on most platforms and yes on others. I actually, that's not the example that I'm thinking about, but I did read about, for example, integers like long integer or whatever it's called. It behaves differently on 64-bit platform and differently on 32-bit platform, which shouldn't be too much of a problem because 32-bit PCs are fairly obsolete nowadays. But just in case, if someone would compile my C code on a 32-bit platform, I would need to be very careful on how I use the length of the integers because they are not equal on different platforms, right? Legisoft says C long. Long is 64-bit on Linux, but 32-bit on Windows. Yeah, but I meant on Linux 32 and on Linux 64. But what you said about Linux versus Windows, that's even more confusing. I mean, not confusing for the end user, but recipe for bugs in your code, right? That's a recipe for bugs if you don't know what you're doing. But I still am looking forward to this challenge, right? Because if I fail, I can just put myself into a hole and put the ashes on top of my head and call myself unworthy of learning programming. Yeah, that's why people are advised to use fixed size integers like Win32t, which is something that I have never heard of until now. But okay, now I have some warning. Okay, guys. I do have GitHub, but nothing particularly special on there. GitHub. Let me see if I can find myself. And I'm not even logged in. Click, 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 click. There you go, my GitHub. I mean, you don't really have to click it. There is nothing particularly interesting on my profile. Also, you don't have a actually, I did have a Discord server. I killed it. I mean, I have a private one, but that's not what you mean, right? I have a matrix. I have some problem with Discord and the way it is being used by free software community. So I don't want to deal with this too deeply as a topic right now. I did make a video about why not use Discord. So the answer to your question is probably I have a matrix room for this community, for my channel. It's linked here in the click on any of my videos on the description. You will find a link to my matrix room. So that's what I use for hanging out with the other people. Whether I will ever have my own Discord server again, probably not, because of my reasons, because I don't really appreciate the way Discord functions. It's too much philosophy for this time of the day. It's already 10:30. But how would I put it? If I would have Discord again, yeah, I mean, I've had 100 people on my Discord before I killed it, but now I have like 10 on Matrix, and that's fine. I don't really need too much noise on my chat rooms, because all of that takes a lot of time, and I really try to answer all of the comments on my video and on my videos, right? And that takes also a lot of time to really answer to everyone in a meaningful way, right? So Discord tends to draw a lot of people, and if this will make sense to you, I want less people on my server, but more kind of a tight group of people who really appreciate talking to each other without all the noise of the passers-by and trolls. So there are a lot of trolls on Discord and a lot of spam. I can deal with that, but it just takes more time. I don't know how much sense am I making at this hour. I just, in the start, I just decided to go with Matrix and keep it simple and low, and I don't really care about having a super large community. If people want to join and talk, that's perfectly fine. I'm fairly active on my Matrix room, and if people are not too Aurora joined my Matrix room while I was streaming. I didn't even notice. Aurora, are you still here on the stream? Sorry, tiny text. Yeah, Aurora sent a Happy Holidays video with a hard drive, which I will play after the stream. Yeah, I think we could wrap this up for today, right? I mean, a lot of you are Slavs here, so I guess it's 10:30 in the evening for most of you, and some of you are from the same time zone as well, not Slavs but same time zone. And I am going to work tomorrow morning, so last day at work before my how do you call it? Not holidays, but I know what vacation, right? 1 week of vacation. I might fire up another stream for a new year or something like that, just for funsies. And yeah, I think I'm going to end up this stream right now. So once again, thank you all very much for 2000 subs. It's past midnight here for Alexei. Yeah, I can imagine. So yeah, time for you to go to bed as well of us others. Thanks for the chat. It was nice to talk and hang out as well, good sir. So thanks for all the subs, whoever is here and not here, who has contributed to the me entering the new year with 2Ks. And happy and Merry Christmas to everyone who is celebrating, and happy holidays to everyone else. And there will be a couple more videos before the new year, so don't worry about that. Captain Button Smash, where did you get the sweater? Can you guess where did I get the sweater from? Have one guess. Just one. It's an ugly Christmas sweater. Northern Chimp, Merry Christmas. Captain Button Smash, are you making a guess? Oh, you don't need to Google it. I just expected you to say Microsoft. You know, it was supposed to be obvious, but okay. So I was contacted by Microsoft on Twitter a couple of years ago. They asked me if they can send me a private message, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, why would Microsoft send me private messages? And they told me on Twitter DM, like, I can't remember the exact words, but it was something like, we noticed that you are our fan, and we would like to send you a gift. And I was like, me, a fan of Microsoft? Yes, I am your fan. Yes, send me gifts, please. And they asked me for my address, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And they actually sent me this sweater with a thank you card. And I went through my tweets, and I filtered my tweets with Microsoft and Windows and whatever. And I only talked about how I hate stuff that don't work on Windows, and from that they somehow concluded that I'm a Microsoft fan, and I said, okay, if that gives me presents, then yes, I'm a fan. So yes, that's how I got this sweater, and I don't care. I wear it every Christmas, and I'm making fun of it being one of the ugly ones. A rare item, right? A rare item. So I don't care. It's a paint. It's paint. And Marco sends a super chat with literally no text. But thank you very much, Marco, for the huge super chat. I appreciate it very much. But no text on your message. You need to You need to type the text first, and then click super button. I think that's the order. You cannot click if you made a mistake. Maybe if you wanted to highlight the text, you can't click the super button and then text, but text first, then the super button. Belex, oh cool, really live. At first you thought that you're seeing a recording of a live. Yeah, it's really live. But we have been on it for more than 3 hours, and I'm wrapping it up slowly, because 3 hours is a lot of time to drink only 2 cups of water. Belex, where are you from? Alexei, here is already past midnight, and most of us in chat are at 10:30 p.m. right now, so we are pretty much all going to sleep now. Germany, okay, so you're 10:30 as well. Okay, I just asked primarily because of the time, right? Because at this hour I could expect some Americans to join the stream, so I was wondering if any American would join, but so far nobody identified as American yet. Marcos says yes, but shitty application for YouTube doesn't work for super chats, so send sticker instead because I want to support you. Thank you once again very much for the support. I just wanted to tell you that I think if you wanted some text to be highlighted, then you need to type the text first, like you're about to send a regular message, and then instead of clicking the send button, you click the super button. I think it works something like, because I made the same mistake as you did on another channel when when I wanted to support someone, I clicked the super button and paid, and then it didn't ask me what I wanted to say, and the host told me why didn't I write anything, and I was like, the interface didn't ask me. But yeah. Low spec Linux gaming. Low spec Linux gaming. Linux from USA. You're from USA? You just entered the chat now, or have you been here? Low spec Linux gaming. I remember you. Do you have a channel with video games? I'm pretty sure I know a YouTube channel that's called literally Low Spec Linux Gaming. How do I click on your name? Go to channel. That's how. Oh yeah. I think I saw your channel before. Unless there is someone else with the same name. Off-grid powered Ryzen APU gaming, minimalist off-grid living. Okay. I was actually not subscribed, but I am now. Yeah. Is there anyone else with your channel name on YouTube? Because I am absolutely sure that I watched a couple of videos from someone with exactly your YouTube channel title, which is probably you. I just wasn't subscribed for some reason. But I remember some nice videos, because a lot of gaming people are usually entering with the $2,000 Euro GPUs, and when you show off a game with all of the effects set to maximum, It is nice, and that definitely serves one kind of audience, but I think the stuff that you did is really nice, and uh, it sends kind of a message, right? Just in the last video, I kind of sent a message that people can play video games on Linux because I only play on Linux, and I got a lot of support in the comments, right? Some people asked me if they really can play on Linux, and they asked for some advice, as they did not know, and a lot of people told me that they have been playing like forever on Linux, and like it's good to have more of these videos to get the word out, right? And the same things goes with the low spec, right? Because not, how do I put it? Some games definitely need higher powered PC. That's normal. But in order to have fun with video games, there is really no need to really buy an expensive PC. So from that perspective, everything, I mean, not everything, but a lot of really, really good games can actually work on basically on an APU, especially the new ones. Okay, the new ones are a bit more expensive, but what did you say? 3400G. So that's the 11, if I remember correctly. No, 304. Which one? Which one is it? Is it with the 11 cores? Is it with 11 graphics Vega cores or less? I mixed them up. There is 3400G and the other one with something like less. Factorio, I have spent over 1000 hours in that. Yeah, Factorio is it just needs like any modern card, low spec, but it needs a fairly okay CPU. I don't know how many machines can you put on the screen with low end CPUs, because I have seen some really nuts scenarios with thousands of machines that actually require a beefier CPU to run at a fairly okay frame rate. But I don't think that many people get to that kind of a gameplay. So it's just 4 cores and 8 threads. I know it's 4 cores. I asked about graphics cores. Does it have 11 graphics cores? Because the 3400G is Vega graphics. I just can't remember how many graphics compute units. That's what I meant. At some point, I was thinking about using this as a desktop computer, and for gaming on a desktop, and for compute. Basically, I was thinking about using this one like my primary and only PC for like a month, and to share an opinion. But in the meantime, a lot of other YouTubers did a similar experiment, so I don't think that would be a really popular video after this many years that this has been on the market, right? I mean, this is a fairly powerful machine. It is 4 cores CPU, but solid cores and solid graphics and solid amount of memory. Yeah. I do have a dock from the French company JSAUX, JSAUX, hard to pronounce. And it's in my living room when I'm playing the simpler games on a big TV, like Vampire Survivors. That's fairly fun to play in I would say high resolution, but it's not really. I mean, the game is low asset graphics. My stream has been alternating between 6 concurrent viewers and 12 in a couple of peaks. Let's say 11. 7 right now. Hammer Watch is pretty good. A game. Okay. Anyone into chocolate? Shall we wrap up the stream? I think it's really the time for that. Means chocolate, yeah. I really don't think that I will stream during the week, but you never know. This seems like something that I might be doing occasionally on weekends or something when I'm, chill and relaxed. Although it's Monday today, I kind of messed it up. Weekend has been recently and holidays are coming and my head is a little bit in mess. We'll probably see each other like on New Year or something like that. I might be crazy enough to stream during the celebration of New Year. So see you around with a couple of videos in between. I have no idea which topics will these be, but I'm just gonna roll the dice like tomorrow and see what comes out. And whoever clicked the like button, thank you. And if you don't see me, once again, happy Christmas. Thank you for 2K. Thank you, Marco, for stream support, and Amir for stream support, and Belex for Christmas tree, and Low Spec Linux Gaming for the little penguin, and who else I can thank? Thanks, Aurora, for joining my Matrix chat, and thanks, guys, for talk on the programming. I will maybe, I'm not sure how much I will talk about programming on my channel because I am totally unskilled at that, so it's not on me to talk about it. But if you are interested at all in, I'm not saying helping me, but it's just seeing where am I at with my learning. Maybe we can talk on Mastodon or something like that. I'm on Twitter too, but I talk a lot more on Mastodon about the shit I do on a daily basis. So it's just my dumping ground for all kinds of shit, which people tend to follow for a reason unknown to me. But yeah, I'm just scrolling up the chat. And thanks to whoever told me about NixOS, that I need to give it a try before I can understand it. I think that was Aurora, who is not in the chat anymore, I think. And I guess that's it. Like, good night, everyone, and thanks for joining the stream. I'm gonna see you when I see you, right? Goodbye.